Tell me, do you remember when Russ said this?
It's Anderson. Alchemist is chopping up the samples and I'm handing in the classic. This the formula. Gotta turn your back to the crowd to lead the orchestra. Light you on 5. They don't wanna pass the torch to you. If we don't get along, then I'ma probably keep it short with you. I know I'm connected to the source. I'm a sorcerer. Flight to California. I'm in and out.
Connected to the source, I'm a sorcerer. True or false? Now, Russ has realized something that a lot of people nowadays are realizing, and that is we're not this helpless, victimized, separate entity in an alien universe. That's just, poor little me that's just here to be tortured, and global warming's happening, and all these wars and all this stuff, and life just is so hard. Why am I here? No, that's a lie. What does he mean by source? Well, source is another name for God. And to be honest, God is beyond all concepts, so please don't hold on too tightly to anything I say today. Rather, my words should be a pointer, right? I want to point to a reality that you can actually experience, right? To go from understanding to understanding. It should shift something in your perception to where you don't see the world like you used to. So in regards to God or the creator, it's not a matter of, theory or, debate. As soon as you start debating whether or not God exists, you've already lost, because God is existence itself, right? The universe is the expression of the divine. It's not a concept, God is not a separate being, in the clouds watching us and judging us. God is a reality. God is reality. That's why the scriptures say that God is life. So I believe, like I said, if you can go from understanding and comprehending what I'm saying to understanding it, it will change your life forever, and it will give you all the strength you need to endure these trying times that we're in now. Like, life is crazy, y'all. Like, things are getting just unbelievably hectic, and we need to tap into our true source of power. We need to wake up. Eckhart Tolle put it this way: it's either evolve or die. It's either figure out why we are here and what our purpose is. It's either remember our true nature. It's either wake up, or it's the end in this life. I believe there's always we're never ultimately doomed. Only relatively. So you are connected to the source of everything. You see, no thing is self-originated or self-sustained, right? Everything requires another thing for its existence. Just like the camera I'm filming on, there's a lot of source material that came together to create the camera and to produce this image that we're seeing. Every single thing has a source, except for the source itself, of course, the source of all things. Our brightest minds are just now discovering what our humblest hearts have known for centuries, and that is we live in a fractal universe. Fractal is defined as a geometric or curved object in which every piece or every component has the same statistical character as the whole. So an example of this would be if you were to shine a light on a disco ball, and then you hit the disco ball, right? So the disco ball is imperceptible. All you can see is the fractals or the reflections of light glittered all across the room. And as you observe the light, you see that, okay, there's thousands of individual separate light particles here, right? That would be our conclusion. But once we see what it's connected to, we find that, it's all really one thing appearing as many, right? And that's exactly how life is. There are so many different objects that we have labels for and that we've deemed as separate, but really they're all many things that are connected to one source. And if this is true, then we should be able to see that the many things in our environment and in our universe, they should have the same statistical character as source. And what is that statistical character? Love. So the best example or concept I found for love is that love is the act of extending oneself for the promotion of life, right? Or perpetuation of life, right? You have a man and a woman come together, and a man literally, extends himself. And what happens? What do we call that? We call that love making. And what happens? They multiply, they become fruitful, right? They produce a child. So love is found wherever multiplication is happening. Look around us. What do we see everything doing? Multiplying. The grass, the birds, the trees, everything. Everything is multiplying. Everything is additioning. I don't know if that's a word, but right? Everything is growing. That's the one essential law or principle of the universe is growth. What do the scientists say the universe is doing? It's expanding. It's growing, right? That's love. That's God. Absolutely everything is operating off the principle of love. For love is the one acting principle in the universe. Even right now, I am extending my consciousness for the promotion and ascension of your consciousness. That's love. You may say, okay, what about people who are evil or tragic situations? And first I'll say there's no evil people. There's only people doing evil acts, right? It's similarly to how they say people don't have ideas, ideas have people, right? I believe we give ourselves the persona, the exterior, right? The character. We give ourselves either to good or evil, right? We choose which path we want to go on. So there's no evil people, but nonetheless, everything's connected. Everything is a microcosm of the macrocosm, right? We live in a fractal universe, so everything has the same statistical character as the whole. So what does this mean? We should be able to observe things, anything, and it should have an implication or it should have something to say about an internal reality, right? Because everything's connected. So when looking at light and darkness in our environment, what do we notice? Well, when I observed it, I saw that, well, really, there's no separation between light and darkness. If you investigate it, conceptually, when we talk about it, we're like, yeah, there's two different powers, and they're battling it out, cosmically. But as you observe it, go look at a shadow somewhere, you'll see that they're connected. There's no gap. There's no empty space between light and darkness. It's one flowing. It's one process. And so my conclusion is that the source of darkness is light, and the source of light is light itself, right? So darkness depends upon light for its existence. Light does not depend upon darkness for its existence. And that's good news. That's why Cat Williams said this.
Are you not afraid about being blackballed again? These are some power people.
What do you mean again? These people are not powerful. Satan can't create anything. That includes blessings for his people.
Right? So darkness cannot create anything. That's why you must sell your soul consensually to the devil. You must sign a contract, right? Darkness depends upon light. It depends upon something. All these entities, there's a lot that's going to start coming out, y'all. Like aliens is just the start of it, like I believe our true history of America is about to be revealed within the next decade. I believe our world is about to be shook, and we need to understand that darkness has no power. Only light has power. Only God has power. That's true power, right? Now let me connect this to the internal reality. So what is darkness within? Darkness is fear, anger, and sadness. What is light within? Light is love, peace, and joy. Now again, just like how darkness, the source of darkness is light, the source of fear, anger, and sadness is love. Let me prove it. Now, I got this from Aaron Abke. This blew my mind. This is such good news. You need to listen to this. So fear is the love of self, right? If you do not love something, like if you don't love, let's say, your homework, you don't care if it disappears or someone shreds it into 1,000 pieces, right? Who cares? Like, I don't love that thing. But if someone threatened you or your family, you automatically feel fear, amongst other things. You might be angry, but so fear is the love of self. Now, anger is the love of righteousness. Whenever we are angry, it's because we feel an injustice is happening, right? Whether we're right or wrong about it actually being an injustice is not the point. It's the perception that a wrongdoing is taking place that causes anger. It's the love of righteousness. Sadness is the love of love. Whenever we feel sad, it's because we feel we have lost love or we're lacking love in some way. So if we can agree that all evil acts come from those three basic negative emotions of fear, anger, and sadness, and if we can also agree that love is at the core of it, then we can see that all is essentially love. We're either in the warm embrace of love or we are unconsciously distorting love and twisting reality into a nightmare. So let's bring this back home. You and everything else is an extension of the Creator itself. And your true power comes from surrendering to the flow of life, which is the flow of love, right? So in every moment, we need to be asking ourselves, what is love asking of me right now? Love is acceptance, right? Love is non-judgmental. Love is forgiveness. Love is patience. Love is kind, right? We need to study love so that we can become more familiar or attentive to the voice inside that's naturally guiding us to love. And once we do this, and once we clear out the trauma and negative karma and all this stuff within, then we become as a child again, in pure innocence. Like we're always innocent, but just that pure, divine nature of a child that's just free. And the creativity and all these things, we have access to just everything. As soon as we surrender, we become the most powerful beings in the universe because we're connected to life itself. That's magic. That's sorcery, good sorcery, right? And so let me give you one last pointer to love. Now, if we have the understanding that I am not the body and I am not the mind, right? The body and the mind came into existence. It came after existence. And this personality that is Emmanuel was developed and built and has evolved over time. And whatever is real does not change. That's why God is eternal. He's changeless, right? So the realest part of us does not change. Only the expressions change. Only our personalities and who we think we are changes. So what we really are is that inner awareness. We're that inner, the inner consciousness that is aware of thoughts, that is aware of the personality. And what's interesting is that where your attention goes, where your awareness goes, energy flows. So if you are constantly thinking fearful thoughts, and as creators, if we're doing this, then we will create more fear-like scenarios. We have to take responsibility for our lives. There's gonna be a moment in your life, or there should be a moment in your life where you realize, oh, this is all me. I can't blame it on my parents. I can't blame it on society. I have to take responsibility because I am the creator of my life, right? So what's interesting is that if love is multiplication and addition, then we can see essentially our attention or the awareness, the reality of the awareness, or the reality of our true nature, which is awareness, is love. Awareness itself is love, because wherever awareness goes, wherever attention goes, energy flows and things grow as a product, right? So we take our masculine, which is our thoughts, and pair it with the feminine, which is our emotions, and make love and set an intention. What happens? The thoughts, the invisible world of the thought world, right? It produces, it manifests something from nothing to something. Poof. That's magic. So, my brothers and sisters, if you're not loving, you're not living.
Created for you.